Last call. Can I have aldermen please take your seats? No, just have one. Yep. Okay, can everyone please be seated? It is now 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Felix.
Present.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Guzman.
Present.
Alderman Martinez.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This evening we have a special guest. The invocation will be given by Pastor Anthony Charles Conley Sr. from the Antioch Baptist Church here in Waukegan. Can you please come up and give the invocation for us?
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor, to all of the council members and all of the guests that are here present. It is such an honor and a privilege to be called back again to ask the blessings of Almighty God on this meeting tonight. Won't you pray with me? Please bow your heads, if you please. Our Father who art in heaven, first of all, let me say thank you on behalf of all of those who are gathered here on this evening. Heavenly Father, thank you for the many abundant blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for the life itself, for a reasonable portion of health and strength that we need to fulfill all of our callings and for friendship. Heavenly Father, thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing responsibilities that are granted to us. We also thank you, Heavenly Father, for the freedom to embrace you and even the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us and granting us your abundant grace and mercy. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities because you have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray, Heavenly Father, for the mayor of this great city, for the various levels of city officials, and for those assembled city council members. I would ask you, Lord, that you would grant them wisdom to govern the conflicting interests and issues of our time, a sense of welfare and true needs of our people. Grant them a keen thirst for justice and righteousness. Grant them confidence in what is good and right, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. Heavenly Father, grant them personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray for the agenda set before them on this evening. So please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Waukegan. It is in the blessed name of Jesus the Christ that I ask this prayer. Let everybody say amen. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Welcome to the July 17th meeting. June 17th. I'm jumping the gun already. We haven't even started summer technically, but you wouldn't know that from the temperature. So I just want to remind people that if you have a neighbor or somebody who does not have air conditioning or is struggling during this time, please reach out to them. We do have cooling centers in the city, but also, you know your neighbors better than anybody knows their neighbors, so please reach out and take care of each other. Also, please do not leave children or animals in cars at this time of year. It is way too hot. We do not want to respond to those kind of emergencies. Please take the time, check on each other. We're a community. We care about each other. Take that opportunity. Before I go on, I'm going to have Chief Navarro come up and talk. I've told you we do, like once a month, we're trying to update everybody on crime happening in the city, what is and what is not going on. So, Chief, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, I'm going to speak a little bit on some of our violent crime stats, all stats in general, but where we're at with violent crime currently in the city. When it comes to battery offenses, we're at last year. I'm gonna compare the entire last year to where we're at this year because we're about halfway through the year, and these numbers were through yesterday. When batteries, we had 417 the entire year last year, and this year we're at 215. So we're at a pace to be very, very close to, unfortunately, same numbers we were at last year when it comes to those batteries. On assaults, we were at 117 the entire year last year. This year we're at 43, so we're doing a little better. We're just below. And let's see here. Home invasions, we've had 2 so far this year. Last year we had 11. On homicides, we've had 2 this year. Last year, during the entire year, we had 10. Firearm-related offenses, last year we had 284. This year we have, so far, 122. Robberies, last year we had 67 the entire year. This year so far we are at 16. Sex offenses, last year we had 134. We're at 50 this year. Vehicular hijackings, we had 23 for the entire year last year, and this year we're at 2. Domestic batteries, last year we're at 852. Unfortunately, this year we're at 562, and we're only halfway through the year. Then domestics with weapons, last year we had 85 that were weapons were used. This year we're at 22. Those are the numbers I currently have, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Again, I want to emphasize 2 things. Domestic violence is up in our city and has been since COVID. I'm asking you to look outside and seek the counseling that we need to make our community whole, but we cannot continue to have children in homes where there's domestic violence like this. We need to be more proactive about it, and we are working with our social workers to make that happen, but we're also asking you in the community to reach out to households that you think that there's households struggling, because domestic violence doesn't always come forward until it's a crisis situation. I will talk a little bit about some of the activities going on. As I've mentioned, the heat. We are also out there looking for grass complaints. There's been a lot of dumping again that people are doing. Again, please take care of the grass. We understand we had a very heavy rainy season, but it's now time to go after some of these grass issues. So please keep after it. Things will start to go a little better now with the heat heating up. The grass won't be growing at the same rate. We have lots of summer activities. If you were out at all this weekend, you saw that the beach was crowded. I will ask that if you saw pictures of the beach this weekend, even though we provide trash containers for you, people are leaving their garbage on the beach. Please respect our lakefront. is not only home to many environmental, our birds, our animals there, but we also want our lakefront looking good. We want to keep the fish going, so please take the time to clean up after yourself. We had a lot of downtown activities this last weekend. We had Art Walk, which had tons of people out. We had a sold-out performance of Pete Davidson at the Genesee Theater. And we had large crowds out, and it was a nice evening for it. I want to highlight a couple of other events coming up. Starting tomorrow night, the 2024 concert season on the Steiner Pavilion at the Waukegan Beach. Admission is free, and we encourage you to bring a lawn chair. If you'd like to eat, bring food, you can do that. The concert series is brought to you by the Waukegan Band Foundation and the City of Waukegan. Neighborhood Watch will be meeting for the 3rd Ward on Tiffany Court, and that will be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And Alderman Martinez will talk about that during Alderman time, I'm sure more so. Juneteenth is this Wednesday. The Waukegan Public Library is hosting its annual Juneteenth celebration at the library from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The event has a meet and greet opportunities to learn about African American history and a lunch. For more information, please contact the Waukegan Public Library. Also, Juneteenth, the African American Museum at the England Manor is also hosting a special Juneteenth celebrations with music, food, and fun for everyone. The event starts at 2 p.m. and ends at 6 p.m. For more information, you can email aam@englandmanor.com or call 224-409-3421, and you're going to hear from Sylvia England tonight, so if you want to meet her afterwards, you can talk to her. This coming Saturday, we have a Shred Document Day, so you will start to see this on Facebook. It is actually at the Waukegan Public Library on Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30. Again, we limit 5 boxes or 100 pounds of paper per car. So that's a lot of paper that you can clear out, and it's time to get rid of stuff out of your house. Take advantage of this. For those of you who don't know, the American Independence Parade that the Waukegan Park District hosts will take place on Sunday, June 30th. The parade theme is Star Spangled Celebration, and the Grand Marshal will be State Senator Adrian Johnson. And the parade will start at 1 p.m. on Sheridan Road and Franklin Street and proceed north to Bowen Park. For more information, email parade@waukeganparks.org. Staying with the patriotic theme, our fireworks are on Thursday, July 4th at 9:30. The fireworks are visible in most places near the Waukegan Harbor and downtown areas. Again, I know there's been some things on Facebook about, rather than buying fireworks, about donating 2 bags of dog food to the animal control. Fireworks are one of those things that we love, but remember, there are people in our community that suffer from PTSD. We have dogs that are terrified of fireworks. So please leave it to the professionals to handle the fireworks, and please don't do them at home. A quick heads up for those of you who don't know, Scoop returns to the downtown Waukegan on Friday, July 12th and July 13th. We have another fabulous event with classic cars and great food and entertainment. Friday's musical headliner is Eddie Domino, the nephew of the legendary Fats Domino. Saturday's headliner is a hometown hero and favorite, Rafael Mendez and the Fabulous House Rockers. In addition, we have, again, added a second entertainment stage for the Scoop in the Steiner Pavilion at the Waukegan Beach on Saturday, July 13th, and it'll feature more free concerts with some of the finest gospel music. For more information about Scoop's activity, visit scoopwaukegan.com. And lastly, block parties. Any of you who are looking at doing a block party, please tell the city at least 30 days in advance, especially if you are looking for police or fire to be there, meaning that you want the fire there, the fire engine there for the kids, or you want the K-9 unit. But if you need streets blocked off, you need to give us 30 days in advance minimal. This is a really busy season, and the more time in advance that we have, the better chances are that you can have that date. Again, as always, you can read about us in our newsletter, the e-news, which comes out the first of every month. You can sign up for those notifications. You can go to our website. We have our information in many, many different places that you can get. If all else fails, you can always call David Motley, and you can get information through our PR department. That's all the comments I have, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, ma'am. We have in the presentation today a proclamation for June 19th is Juneteenth in Waukegan. Whereas the United States is made up of people from every nation who are declared equal, not only in freedom, but also in justice, both of which are essential for a healthy human civilization. And whereas on New Year's Day, January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, providing that all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free, and paving the way for the passing of the 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States and emancipating nearly 4 million African Americans held as slaves. And whereas word about the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation was delayed by 2½ years to June 19th, 1865, in reaching authorities and enslaved Americans in Galveston, Texas, leading to the naming and celebration of Juneteenth. And whereas the city of Waukegan celebrates our diversity and unity by taking part in and promoting Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day, Black Independence Day, Jubilee Day, and Freedom Day. And whereas the city of Waukegan realizes the weight of Juneteenth and pledges to continue the work of equity and justice while recognizing the human capacity for healing and hope across our community and beyond. Whereas this year's celebration of Juneteenth was made more special by the recognition of its importance and significance in our history by now being established as both a state and federal holiday. And now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council of Waukegan, Illinois, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2024 is Juneteenth to recognize the historic and ongoing contributions of African Americans in our city and beyond, and encourage all residents to respect and honor our diverse community, help eradicate systemic racism, and celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness, adopted the 17th day of June, 2024.
Sylvia England, will you come on up? Ms. England has been very instrumental in getting Juneteenth established in Lake County, and so we'd like to recognize you today. Alderman?
Hold the right flag up, because they got the wrong flag.
You want us to move in?
Celebrate Juneteenth with red, white, blue flag. So the Texas style here. Okay. What you standing up there for? What happened to the black aldermen? Why you don't? Ain't to some bitch. You got 2 black aldermen up there. They wouldn't come down.
I don't know, that's,
Oh my God. They want us to honor our Black Freedom Day. Got 3. I forgot about
Okay, at this time, I'm going to have Rachel Canton from our Planning and Zoning Department talk about the South Lakefront Brownsfield grant.
Good evening, City Council and community members. As some of you will remember, we had engaged an engineering consultant last fall to help work with us for a brownfield cleanup. Since that has happened, we've had a lot of progress on the site, including site testing and site recharacterization, basically helping us reassess where the contamination on this property is and how to best clean it up. We're now at a point where we're almost ready to clean it up, but before we can do that, we are going to have a public comment period. This public comment period is going to run July 1st through July 30th. It is specifically over the analysis for Brownfield's cleanup alternatives, or the ABCA. The ABCA is a document that outlines different alternatives for the cleanup, different ways that we can clean it up or ways that we don't clean it up, and compares all those different options so that we can identify what the best route is. During the public comment period, we will have the ABCA available for view as well as other documents. These will be in an information repository. This information repository will be available on our website under the Environment and Sustainability webpage, as well as in person at the public library. During the public comment period, people will be able to submit comments online through email or mail to the city or at the library at that in-person information repository. Again, during the public comment period, we'll also be hosting an informational meeting. This is an opportunity for people to come, learn more about it, as well as see some of those documents that are included in that information repository. Our public meeting will be July 9th at 3:30 to 6:30 at Trinity AME. Community members, again, are encouraged to come and attend, learn more, and ask questions. During this public comment period, we will also be having a public hearing. This is another opportunity for people to make public comment and enter their comments into the public record. This will be held July 15th at 5 p.m. during the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee here at City Hall. Again, public comments can be submitted through multiple different ways. We will have more information available on the Environment and Sustainability webpage on our website about how to make those public comments, as well as all these different dates and upcoming events. Again, the information repository will be available there as well. Any questions from the council?
Can you repeat the first date at the AME Church?
Yes, so July 1st through July 30th will be the public comment period. July 9th at 3:30 to 6:30 will be our public meeting information session at Trinity AME, and then July 15th will be the public hearing.
Thank you so much. Next, we're going to have a presentation by Robinson Engineering related to the 2024 citywide lead service line removal initiatives.
All right, good evening. I'm going to try to give clear direction with slide progression because I do have a lot of animations, but bear with me, there might be some issues. I'm Diane Moeller with Robinson Engineering. This is my colleague, Jonathan Flowers. We've been working with city staff, Antonio, Jesus, and Chris for over 2 years on the lead service line replacement program. So we wanted to give you an update tonight on what has been done so far and the next steps. So if you could do 2 slides, please. One more. So just some background on what a service line is. It's the 1-inch diameter pipe that connects the water main to the water meter inside the structure, the building. One more for an animation. It's separated by the property boundary. So from the water main to the curb stop is the public side, and then from the curb stop to the water meter is the private side. Historically, either one of these portions could have been replaced individually. So we could find that there's lead on one side, copper on the other. But moving forward, we can only do full replacements of the entire lead portion. Next slide. So the state passed the Illinois Lead Service Line Replacement and Notification Act. It went into effect January 1st, 2022. Next. One more. April 15th of 2024, we had to submit a complete service line material inventory. One more. At the same time, we had to also submit a draft lead service line replacement plan. From the April of 2024 to April of 2027, we have to submit updated plans and inventories. Next. And then starting April 15th of 2027, the state will mandate lead service line replacements. The number of replacements per year will depend on the number in the community. Next, please. So we expect that Waukegan has 9,000 lead service lines. That would correspond to an annual rate of 5% over 20 years. And that is 450 replacements per year. At $12,000 per replacement, it's $5.4 million per year. Next. So we've done inventory for you. We've won 3 rounds of inventory grants from the IEPA at $50,000 each. So that's a total of $150,000. We're pursuing an additional $50,000 in round 4. And every round that Waukegan is awarded money, then we need a new amendment for the city. So that's why you've seen multiple amendments to our inventory agreement. It corresponds to every round that we've won. Next, we've sent out survey mailers. This is showing the process of submitting a survey of the photos of your service line. Next. This graph shows the number of responses over time. So the point is that this is something that needs community engagement and it builds momentum. So you can see that recently from the notices and the additional mailers this year, we've seen a lot more responses. Next. We also have photos from the city's water meter replacement program that occurred about 10 years ago. Unfortunately, only about 10% of these photos can be used to identify the material just because of the quality. So we've got about 1,000 addresses that we've used from that project to identify them. Next. And we have about 200 exploratory excavations that we've done as well. And those are important because we can see both the public and the private side. Next. So this is the video of what an exploratory excavation entails. They dig down to the service line at the curb stop so they can see both sides. Next. Predictive modeling fills in the gaps. So we use building attributes to predict the probability of a lead service at each address where we don't have records. This graph here, or this map here, shows the probability of the city. If it's closer to red, it's more likely to be lead. So we can see that there's a higher probability of lead services in the downtown area and the older parts of the city. Next. And then in the round 4 inventory grant, we're going to start sequential sampling. So that's where you take multiple samples that are each a liter each at the faucet. Next slide, please. And when you take these samples to the lab, you can actually determine the material at different parts of the service line, so we can determine both the public and the private side. Next. So this is what we submitted to the state in April for the inventory. Next. So the lead and copper rule revisions that go into effect in October, they changed how the state mandated us to determine the material. So from the curb stop to the water meter, if that private side was identified as copper, but the public side was unknown, we still had to consider it as an unknown. So that's why we have over 11,000 unknowns. We've got about 4,500 lead services, and based on the construction project and the exploratory excavations, we're assuming an additional 4,500 public partial replacements. So we're looking at 9,000 total. Next. So that's the private side. I think 2 more. And then again, so it's 9,000. Yep, go ahead. So talking about inventory, now we're looking at replacements. We just wrapped up a replacement project that preceded the road resurfacing program. The map on the PowerPoint shows the project area. We replaced 552 lead services for $7.4 million. Next. This just went to council on June 3rd. This was paid from the IEPA FY24 funding, even though it's the FY25 project for Waukegan. The project areas are shown in the map above. It's a $4 million loan at 1.61% over 30 years. The repayment's going to be $170,000 annually. We expect to replace 400 lead services in this project. Next. So we've already had the bid opening. We've already issued the notice of intent to award. The next step is that by June 28th, the IEPA will finish the loan agreement and send it to the city to execute. July and August will execute the loan and the contract documents. September we'll have the open house and the pre-construction meeting, and then construction will start in October and end in October of next year. Next. So looking ahead, what are we looking at next? We have the replacement plan, the inventory, and future funding. So next. We get a lot of calls from residents saying, you know, I've been notified that I have a lead service, but when is it going to be replaced? So the next step with the replacement plan is to develop the prioritization and a schedule of replacements over the full program, depending on what kind of funding we can expect. And then inventory work will continue through the entire program. It'll take a lot of resources, so we'll need city staff to do appointments. We'll have survey mailers, GIS, and it'll take continued community outreach and engagement. Next. So the IEPA changed how they are scoring future projects. It's no longer by municipality, it's now by census tracts, and it's based on demographic data. So this is the data that they look for and what they score. Next. This map shows each census tract in Waukegan. The darker the tract shows the higher the score. We were awarded $2.298 million in forgiveness in this next fiscal year. Next. So the $2.298 million in forgiveness is in these two census tracts. We expect to have 600 replacements in these areas, but the forgiveness that was awarded, we expect to pay for 200 replacements. So next year, we will apply for forgiveness for the same areas, but we will also apply for 3 more census tracts in the coming years. So if you hit it 2 more times, it'll show the 3 census tracts there and there. So we're pretty confident that over the next 4 years, that the city is in a good position to get forgiveness each year for replacements. Next. Additional funding opportunities. The city has already been awarded nearly $1 million in congressional funding, and there's also grant opportunities for community revitalization. That's a maximum of $2 million, but it has to be in the downtown area. And then there's also the US EPA Community Change Grant that's as much as $20 million, but that's also based on census tracts. Next. And full disclosure, there are some upcoming amendments and agreements that you'll be seeing in the coming months. We will have a construction engineering amendment to the FY25 SRF funded lead service line replacement project. We're increasing our scope, but keeping our fees the same. We're expecting an amendment to the inventory agreement with round 4 funding. And then each project will have design and construction engineering agreements. So the one that was just awarded forgiveness, you'll see design and construction agreements for that. And then we're currently discussing a proposal for the replacement plan. And that's it. Any questions?
Actually, I do. So you said there's 2 parts. One's for the resident and one's for the city. So what is the likelihood of one being copper and one being lead?
Most of the time, they're full service line replacements, but we do see about a 1-to-1 chance that it is copper on the private side and lead on the public side. So we're expecting 4,500 full replacements, and then 4,500 public side replacements.
So how does it work when somebody sends you a survey and it shows copper, but they don't know if the public side is lead?
So the survey helps to determine the public side in that if a street has a mix of public or a mix of lead and copper, we can assume that the copper ones at least need further investigation. So what we do for determining the public side is exploratory excavations and then the sequential sampling. So the surveys are going to help us to determine which addresses we should use for sequential sampling to determine if they have a lead service on the public side.
And the photos with the meter replacement, you said you have about 1,000 photos.
Correct.
And the quality of the pictures are not that well, because I remember when they came to my houses and they were taking pictures.
So I should say we've gone through about 7,000 of them already, but there are 22,000 total. So we could be getting more identifications as we keep going through the project.
Thank you.
I have a question. A few questions. When the lead lines get cut, do they get taken out of the area?
It depends on the type of method of construction. So there are two types. There's pipe pulling and there's directional drilling. With directional drilling, they drill a new line next to the old one, and they leave the old one in place. With pipe pulling, they cut it in the house, and they attach like the copper pipe to it, and they pull the old lead pipe out, and they remove it.
Another question. For people that, I had some constituents that have done the survey. Is there now, I know I mentioned this to the chief of staff before, is there now a way where they can get a reference number when they submit a survey? That way they can know for sure or reference that survey that they've done?
Yeah, we're working on that. There were a few things that we were asked to do. So as soon as we identify it, we do upload that identification to the inventory map so they can see it online. We're working on developing a reference number that they get when they submit it.
And how, no, I'm not in terms to rush it, but what's that looking like in terms of a timeline?
Probably the next month, I'd say.
Thank you.
And I will say that most survey responses that we're getting right now are appointments where we can confirm that the survey has been uploaded immediately.
I have a question. What is the consequences if a homeowner decides not to go with the initial inspection, and what consequences would they be looking at?
Want to answer that?
I'm Jonathan. For the initial inspection for a survey or for a replacement project?
For the whole thing. Sometimes you get some constituents that just don't want to participate in the program, and they just don't want to comply.
Sure. There is no mandate for a resident to participate. It is a state law that we need to ask 3 times, and then after that 3rd time, if they're non-responsive, we would send in notification to the state that they were non-responsive, and they would go on a list, and then we would not be responsible for replacing that pipe that year. So they have a whole list. However, by the end of the project, or by the end of the replacement timeframe, which is 20 years here, you are responsible for replacing every pipe in town. So it just puts it on hold.
Do you have like an estimated amount, how much it would cost them out of pocket if they weren't to comply, or?
If say we're doing a project one year that's funded by the state and they don't want to do it, and then 2 years later they decide they have to, the costs for our projects are about $8,500 per service. If you're doing a one-off, it's probably a lot more expensive, maybe $12,000 for one person.
And then one more thing, and then for my Latino constituents, do we have this in Spanish for them to reference to, and also?
Yes, the survey form that she put up is bilingual. The 2 sides are English and Spanish, and most of our materials are as well.
Thank you.
I have one more question to follow up with Alderman Phoenix. You mentioned diagonal drilling for the implementing of the piping, and you don't remove the other one. So what happens with the other one when it starts rotting away?
So that other pipe is disconnected from the water system. The biggest problem is the risk of lead in the water. The IEPA has ruled leaving the line in place is not as harmful to the community for now. I think the priority is to get it disconnected from the water system. Who knows, in 10, 20 years, that might change, but that's where we're at right now, and I think it would be more expensive to try to take out every pipe right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, there are some communities that actually applied for money in 2016. We didn't actually start the program until 2021, which means there was more money available for grants at that time. Now what you're seeing is more and more low-interest loans that may be forgivable up to 49%. So we're taking as many forgivable loans as we can, and we think we're in good standing in order to get them 49% forgivable, but we're still responsible for the others. So, okay, audience time, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a number of people talking tonight. You have up to 3 minutes. You don't have to take it all, but you have up to 3 minutes each. I'm going to call the first 5 people. Go to the east side of the room, line yourself up so you're ready to go to the next one. Make sure you state your name. I'd like Perry Montgomery, Aurora Flores, Dave Power, Sylvia England, and Mary Neese. Perry Montgomery, Aurora Flores, Dave Power, Sylvia England, Mary Neese. Who's Perry? Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, thank you for allowing me to come to you today and speak to you about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is adopting a ceasefire resolution on behalf of the people in Gaza. My name is Perry Montgomery. I served 2 years in the Middle East with the military. I have a combined military and civilian service for a total of 22 years serving this country. I wanted to appeal to you because to date there have been more than 37,000 people that have been killed in this war. And of that 37,000, more than 12,000 people, or 12,000 children, have been killed in this war. The children have done nothing. The only thing that they are guilty of is being born in a land that has been disputed violently for decades. These children are being maimed, they're losing limbs, they're losing eyes. Medical facilities are being hastily erected to conduct operations without anesthesia. They are told to move from their homes into what they call a so-called safe zone, only to be told to return back to the area that they came from. When they get there, they find that their homes and the areas have been decimated and reduced to ashes. They're desperately looking for food, desperately looking for water, desperately trying to take care of their families and erect some type of a shelter for their families. I know as a parent, I would not want my family to suffer these atrocities. And I would venture to say that some of you all in this room and on the council would not want your children to suffer these atrocities. The children are near and dear to me, but all of the people of Gaza are undergoing such suffering right now that it is ridiculous, it's senseless, and it's insane. It doesn't really matter what side of the line that you're standing on. The loss of one life is one too many. I don't care whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Palestinian, whether you're Chinese or whatever, the loss of life, one loss of life is one life too many. Based upon that, I ask you to dig in your hearts, look down in your hearts based upon what you might feel as a parent, and a family member to consider adopting a resolution in regards on behalf of these people. Forgive me, I'm kind of stumbling over my words, but it's something that I'm passionate about. I thank you for your time, and you all have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Aurora Flores. Aurora Flores.
Hello, my name is Aurora Flores. I am a lifelong resident of Waukegan, and I'm sure you guys know already, I'm here again to ask for you guys to pass a ceasefire resolution. And I know that Alderman Felix today has a draft of a ceasefire resolution that was given to him, and he'll be asking, along with hopefully Alderman Martinez and Guzman, to get this on the agenda for the next meeting. And I want the rest of you to really look at them as an example of what it means to fulfill your role as an elected official and what it means to do your job. I know that, we all have a lot of different perspectives, but Alderman Felix, my alderman, has been willing to have a conversation with me and have a dialogue. And, he's noticed that we've been consistent in showing up to these meetings. And at the end of the day, his role is to represent what his constituents are calling for. And we've come here consistently. We've made our asks very clear. And a couple of you haven't acknowledged what we've had to say. Keith Turner, I know that you'll be running for mayor. Mayor Taylor, I know that you'll be running for re-election as well. I truly don't know how you expect to be elected if you're not doing the simple task of your job of listening to your constituents. If you see a really grassroots organized effort to call for something very specific and you can't even listen to that, I don't know how you expect us to have trust that you'll fulfill anything else that we need from you. And Alderman Florian, I saw you at the Lake County Pride event. There is no pride in genocide. The bombs that are falling in Gaza do not differentiate between who is what sexuality, who is what gender. You can't say that you stand with a community here and not stand with a community elsewhere. Alderman Hayes, you have the mosque that I go to, Islamic Foundation North, in your ward, and you haven't even acknowledged us in your Alder people time. You completely dismiss us, and that's a really big part of the community. And whenever I go in there, we pray for our Palestinian siblings. We make sure to do that consistently. That's something that's really important to us, and the fact that you can't even say a few words or stand with us, it's really telling of what you'll continue to do with this position and this role. So I ask that you guys, take Alderman Felix as an example. That's a fraction of him doing what he's supposed to do to fulfill his job. There's a genocide going on. You've heard so much from us consistently. Meeting after meeting, I don't have a lot left to say to give you the details, the statistics and numbers to make you realize the amount of grief and death that we are complicit in. It's time for you to do something, and if you don't, then it's time for you to give up your seat because you're not fulfilling your role. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Thank you. Power. Big power. Dave Power. Dave Power.
Sir, before you start, can you push the microphone forward? Because I can't hear you. It's not being heard. Actually,
I'll speak up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How about now? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm good with microphones. So my name is David Power. I'm a Waukegan resident, and I'm an activist for Palestine, among many other things. If I sound a little fed up today, it's because this is 4 or 5 times I've been up here speaking to these people, talking to them about what needs to be done, what is happening, the atrocities, and it's not there yet. So once again, I'm here to petition in favor of a ceasefire resolution, and once again, I'm here to talk about the genocide that Israel is committing in Gaza. Israel has been denying food, bombing civilians in their homes, their mosques, their hospitals, their schools, and even walking down the street. Israeli politicians have referred to these people they are bombing as human animals. Biden said that an invasion of Rafah would be his red line, yet since then, Israel has continued to bomb Rafah, and the U.S. has continued to send them bombs and money. Money that they have told us that we don't have for health care or for education or for hungry children at home. Biden lied about his red line, and so the people are now saying that we will be the red line. On June 8th, I joined at least 100,000 people in Washington, D.C. to surround the White House with a 2-mile red banner to send that message. And today we're here to send that message to this city council and to you, Mayor Ann Taylor. Genocide is our red line. Since you're in that center seat, Mayor Taylor, I'll speak to you directly. You have demonstrated that you do not care about me, and you have demonstrated that you do not care about any of us speaking up for this issue. And your silence continues to demonstrate that. Yet I am here talking to you because I know my history. I know that all the rights of working people in this country have been won by movements of the people. I know this because throughout history, politicians just like you have stood in our way, and we still won. Waukegan has not had a 2-term mayor in quite a long time. I believe that's because nobody has stood for the people in all that time. Maybe you could change that, but you sure as hell aren't giving me any hope. Instead, my hope lies in the people in this audience. I have seen people continue to get organized, to develop courage, and to develop awareness of the forces of oppression both at home and abroad. I have hope in the people, and we are your red line, and we demand a ceasefire.
Miss Sylvia England. Sylvia England, go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you for the proclamation that you gave to the Juneteenth, and we're Juneteenth Lake County. We have been doing events for Lake County for probably about 7 or 8 years now. But anyway, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I had a great-grandmother who would have been born into slavery. So every time I think about Juneteenth and the degradation that went on, I think about my great-great-grandmother, who would have been my ancestor. So Juneteenth is very special to me because I think about the times when they would have rode into Galveston and said that the enslaved would have been free. I can feel what my great-great-grandmother would have felt that day. So anyway, I'm here just to say we are going to be celebrating, I'm Sylvia England. I'm the executive director and founder of the African American Museum right here in Waukegan. And it's been in existence ever since 2018, became a business in 2019. So I'm here today representing Juneteenth. We're going to be having an event at the museum. It's from 2 to 6 on Wednesday, the 19th. We're going to also partner with the Park District, and we're going to be taking Juneteenth journeys, one at 10 o'clock on the 19th, one at 12 o'clock on the 19th. And then again on Saturday, the 22nd, we're going to have 2 tours. But I want you to come out, take the tours, because that's going to tell you about the African American history right here in Lake County. For Juneteenth, we're specifically going to be talking about Waukegan, but we've done a Juneteenth journey already in Zion. So I'm just real excited. I want to make sure that I give you information. You should have information in front of you about the Juneteenth information. And also, we're going to be doing computer or laptop distribution. With that, we're going to be giving away 125 laptops for $19. They're going to come with a 1-year guarantee, and we're going to give them away on June 19th. So $19 for a computer. They're going to come with a guarantee. We're going to have someone there to help you get onto the computer, get it registered in your name. So please come. Thank you so much for your time. And I got one thing I just do have to say. Thank you, Clyde, for bringing it to my attention. I don't fly the red, white, and blue flag for Juneteenth.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The African American flag.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Miss Mary Neese.
I'm Mary Reese, and what I have to say might sound a little selfish after listening to everyone else. but it's because of the noise on the street where I live and the fireworks. And they don't start the fireworks until about 9 o'clock at night or 9:30 when I'm ready to go to bed. So that's all I'm here to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, where do you live at?
Oh, 1032 North Lewis, the busy street.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
1032 North Lewis.
Thank you.
The next 5 individuals will be Ben Squires, Luke McFadden, Mike Morris, Mike Urbancic, Priscilla Resendez. Ben Squires, Luke McFadden, Mike Morris, Mike Urbancic, Priscilla Resendez. Go right ahead, Mr. Squires.
Thank you. I'm Ben Squires, pastor of Bethel Lutheran Church in Gurnee, and you're receiving an updated packet of letters. As a church, as Christians, we share much of the scriptures with our Jewish and Muslim brothers and sisters, and the scriptures call on us, God calls on us to pay attention to those who are marginalized and oppressed. And I could lend my voice to support a ceasefire in Gaza tonight. I could lend my voice to support Juneteenth and more awareness of our history. But I want to make sure that you see that I've come on behalf of many churches to thank you for your work to support PADS and the marginalized, the oppressed, those experiencing homelessness. And so thank you for that work. I pray that you will pass it tonight as the Travel Lodge will then become a fixed site shelter location to support families experiencing homelessness. And just for the sake of public record, I wanted to read into the record all of the churches and organizations that support this effort. So Bethel Lutheran Church in Gurnee, Christ Church Lake Forest, Christian Neighbors Church in Waukegan, Cross Life in Libertyville, First Baptist Waukegan, Gurnee Community Church, Holy Cross Libertyville, Joy Lutheran in Gurnee, Lakeland Church Gurnee, Lord of Glory Grays Lake, Love Inc. Lake County, and Mosaic House in North Chicago. Both of those represent consortiums of many congregations. Redeemer Lutheran Waukegan, Sign of the Dove Waukegan, St. Paul's Lutheran Waukegan, Street Chaplains, Waukegan Baptist Bible, Wesley Free Methodist, who will be the neighbors to the new PAD site here in Waukegan, and a letter of support from Islamic Foundation North. So thank you for your efforts, and I really am looking forward to how this will be a new phase of being able to help the homeless. So thank you.
Thank you. Luke McFadden.
Good evening, Council. My name is Luke McFadden. I serve as pastor of Christian Neighbors Church on County Street. With the full support of our elder board, I'm here to ask each of you to vote to approve the proposed fixed site shelter at 3633 North Lewis Avenue. As you know, the PAD's vision is to convert that property into emergency housing for families experiencing homelessness. As a Waukegan pastor who attends 3 pastoral groups in our area, I promise you that this concern is heavy on the hearts of church leaders and church members in our city. In the 14 years that I've lived in Waukegan and served in ministry here, I've had many interactions with homeless individuals in our community, including homeless families. I'm told that PADS is currently serving over 500 individuals, and half are under the age of 18. While each of their stories is distinct, every story that I hear is heartbreaking. Their unique journeys underscore a glaring reality. Homelessness is, of course, an incredibly complex problem with no easy solution. In our community, I've been reminded of this time and again as our church has worked to try to alleviate the suffering of those who don't have access to shelter. Many obstacles stand in the way of assisting and empowering those who are housing insecure, but there is something that can be done. Today, you can vote to approve a PADS fixed site shelter for families. In approving this shelter, you'll be doing your part to bring Waukegan families that are in need out of the elements. And this is the first form of relief that a family in need needs. In voting for the approval of the shelter, you will also be facilitating their access to a range of empowering wraparound services that will be provided there, such as mental health counseling and assistance reentering the workforce. Imagine a secure site where people can receive comprehensive care while they're being sheltered. It won't solve the homelessness problem, and not everyone who needs help will avail themselves of this help. Yet this fixed site shelter can play a critical role in lifting the burdens of those on the margins of our city. As a pastor who worships a homeless man, who called us to serve the homeless, I'm asking you in Jesus' name to do your part on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mike Morse.
Good evening. My name is Mike Morse, and I'm a member of Joy Lutheran Church in Gurnee. I'm also a servant of the PADS homeless community along with my wife, Julie, and I would like to share a brief letter from the pastor of our church. To whom it may concern, my name is Mark Brigetti, lead pastor of Joy Lutheran Church in Gurnee. I have been a pastor for nearly 20 years, and during this time, both congregations I have served have been actively involved with PADS, supporting those among us who lack a permanent address. In my previous Naperville congregation, the PADS organization purchased an apartment complex 3 blocks from our church in a residential neighborhood. To the best of my knowledge, they were good neighbors, and this fixed shelter site greatly helped our community. One of the most poignant and lasting insights I gained from serving people who live among us homeless is this: every act of compassion must maintain or restore the dignity of the recipient. Dignity is the inherent worth and respect every person possesses simply by being human. It acknowledges our value in individuality, promoting self-esteem and mutual respect. Every person deserves dignity because it affirms our shared humanity, fosters compassion, and ensures a just and equitable society where everyone is treated with honor and respect. I believe this to my core. And one of the best ways to restore or maintain someone's dignity is to help them find a place to live. A place to live that includes simple necessities we often take for granted: electricity, clean running water, a toilet, a way to have a hot meal, a roof and walls to shelter from the elements, and perhaps most importantly, a room of our own to sleep in. I support PADS moving forward with the fixed site shelter plans because as a community, we will be maintaining or restoring the dignity of the people who live there by helping them to more quickly and more effectively get into permanent housing. When asked about the greatest commandment, Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And this is the first and greatest commandment." But then he added, "And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." When we work to promote housing for those who lack it, we are living out the second part of the greatest commandment ever given. May we all find ourselves loving others the same way we want to be loved, with the gift of dignity. Grace and peace, Pastor Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mike Urbancic.
If we have anybody that's suffering from PTSD, I'd ask that you step outside. If anybody is, please step outside, okay? My name is Mike Urbancic. I've lived in this town for almost 75 years. 4th of July is approaching us, and I hope this year something other than what has done in the past year I hope we have some further enforcement, because every year it's getting worse and worse and worse. We have people in the neighborhood setting off commercial-grade fireworks. We have numerous people with pets, veterans with PTSD, and it's getting crazy. This was my Saturday night. (10:30) Saturday night, 3 different times, okay? You ask these people, the last 2 years I've gone around the neighborhood, asked people, please do not fire the fireworks. You know what they tell me? Go screw myself. Not in those terms, okay? Call the police, they're so busy they can't respond. I hope that this year, maybe they could get a higher back detail going. Everybody in their different wards probably has specific addresses that they could furnish to their alderman, which could be relayed to the police department, and that overtime detail could possibly check those addresses, and there'd be 0 tolerance. You got people firing fireworks, those fireworks get confiscated, and they get a ticket. Same goes with the loud music. I've lived in my home for over 40 years. I've got people that moved into my neighborhood that have been there for 5 years. Every weekend, it's a loud party, amplified music, drunk singing. You talk to them, same thing, go get screwed. Why can't, when we call the police department, they do a call history check on that address, okay? And if we've been called there 2 times, more than 2 times, the officer turns his body camera on down the street, approaches the address. If they're in violation of the loud music ordinance, they get issued a citation. And if they get rude about it, confiscate their amplifiers, your radios, and so forth. I know they're busy, but geez, you know, people are fed up. People are fed up in our neighborhood, and you know, you talk to everybody, and their major complaints are fireworks, loud music, speeding cars. It's time to start playing hardball. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Priscilla Resendez. Priscilla Resendez.
My name is Priscilla Resendez. I'm a longtime Waukegan resident, and I'm in support of a ceasefire resolution. These are excerpts from a Liberation News article about the protest I attended a week and a half ago. On June 8th, pro-Palestine activists traveled from across the United States to Washington, D.C. to attend the latest massive demonstration of opposition to the U.S.-Israeli genocide in Gaza. Wearing red, the over 100,000 attendees completely encircled the White House, holding a 2-mile-long red banner inscribed with the names of the 40,000 Palestinians martyred by Israel in Gaza since October. This formed what organizers called the People's Red Line, a powerful symbolic rejection of President Joe Biden's lie that an Israeli attack on Rafah would be his red line for supplying the regime with further weapons. Rafah is the southernmost city of the Gaza Strip, and it is where over 1 million Palestinian refugees are sheltering in a massive tent cities after Israel bombed their homes in the north and drove them out. Weeks of Israeli bombing of Rafah using US-made bombs and aircraft have caused horrific massacres, but the Biden administration has continued to approve weapons sales to Israel. If Joe Biden's red line was a lie designed to make us quiet, we are instead going to become louder, bigger, and more militant, stated Answer Coalition National Director Brian Becker at the rally in front of the White House. Our lives are intrinsically connected to those in the Global South because we understand that we have more in common with every community in struggle than with the so-called leaders of this country, said presidential candidate Claudia de la Cruz at the rally. We understand that the reason we are suffering a housing crisis, that we cannot access health care or education, that our migrants are being attacked, is for the same reasons the US imperialists launch war against poor people every day, she continued. After encircling the White House, activists convened the People's Court of Justice. During this tribunal, members of the Palestinian community read harrowing testimonies which described widespread injuries, death, starvation, and disease caused by relentless Israeli bombing, shelling, as well as through-the-ground invasion, occupation, and total siege of the Gaza Strip. There are a lot of kids with amputations, said one doctor's testimony from Gaza. We have only the primary medical supplies, paracetamol and ibuprofen, and dressing, and unfortunately, we don't have access to our clinic. The Israeli army cut our access to the road. June 8 demonstrated the people's determination to end the U.S.-Israeli genocide in Gaza and bring those responsible to justice. We will continue to demand a complete end to all U.S. support for Israel, and we will continue to fight until Palestine is free and occupation and colonization from the river to the sea. Thank you.
Next 5 will be Rayon Edwards, Clyde McLemore, Rosa Shepard, Ariel Jones, Katie Hone. Rayon Edwards, Clyde McLemore, Rosa Shepard, Ariel Jones, Katie Hone. Ready when you are, sir.
Good evening, council, community. I was just sitting in that seat and I said, I guess it's going to be me to make everybody angry, right? As I'm sitting here and I'm listening to everybody speak tonight, I'm looking at the face of the council, as I often do. And I ask myself tonight, do you guys make decisions because it's right? Or do we do what is politically correct? Because tonight, these young ladies turned some heads tonight. They got everybody's attention up here as soon as they started talking about re-election. That was amazing to me. For the first time in over 2 years, I watched all of y'all at one time look up and tune in. A lot of y'all say y'all go to church. As a kid, I was taught that if you stand by and you watch wrong and you do nothing or say nothing, you just as complicit as the ones that's doing wrong. I watched a black man get up here and ask y'all for a committee so we can check into what the police do. He's been up here over 2, 3, 5 years asking y'all for this. Maybe because he didn't have 50 people standing behind him, his voice wasn't heard. And then it leads me to ask myself this question: do y'all really care? 46 years old and all I see in politics is the title. That seems to grind y'all gear more than anything. Last meeting, we censored an alderman. And I know a lot of people had those two words confused. Sound alike, but two different meanings. And we did that because we wanted to make the city look good. We did that because maybe a family in Milwaukee was upset. Was it unkind? Hell yeah, it was. Inhumane? Yes. But all of that y'all did, you could have just made a statement, dear. You played with these people's time. And all of these people that pay taxes in your city is asking you something, and you wouldn't even look at them until they said re-election. I'm disgusted at every last one of y'all up there tonight. And normally I get here and I go crazy, but my heart is broke. Because
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
is who
Mr. Clyde
represents
McLemore,
me.
please. Thank you.
Mayor, you gave a proclamation honoring Juneteenth. However, you are totally disrespectful to black people. These flags that you're waving downtown, freedom finally came in 1865 to 25,000 black people who were enslaved. White folks in Texas knew slavery was over, freed by executive decree, but these white folks knew my ancestors would never know because they wasn't allowed to be educated. In 1997, the first version of the flag was created by a black man, Ben Hite, from Texas. He was fighting so hard to make that day a national holiday. So when he created that red, white, and blue flag with the Texas star in it, he was not trying to offend the white folks. In June 17, 2021, President Biden signed Juneteenth as a national holiday 3 days ago today. And black people took down that red, white, and blue and raised the Pan Am flag. Black people no longer here allow white folks to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. The Pan-African flag was created by Marcus Garvey in 1920 to serve as an unified symbol to connect people of African descent across the globe. In this flag, each color means something. Green represents the land that we were stolen from. Black represents the color of the people who were stolen. Red represents the blood that was shed. The writing is in gold, and that represents the gold that was stolen from us. Because we was kings and queens before white folks came around and stole everything. Every year you have disrespected black people with that blue, red, and white flag. The chief of staff want to blame Brother Blanks, saying he gave the city that flag. But Blanks said he gave the city a Pan-African flag. I'm asking the city, take them red, white, and blue flags down and burn them because they don't represent us.
Thank you, sir. Rosa Shepherd. Rosa Shepherd.
Hello, hello, hello. Gentlemen, good evening. My name is Rosa Shepherd. The gentleman talk about PTSD. I got PTSD right now. There's so much anger in here. Each one reach one. It's food for thought. Look in the mirror. We all look alike. We need to love one another. We need to hold on to each other. The link cannot hold the chain around the world if we don't link together. Can we come here and just express and let's talk to each other and not yell at each other? But anyhow, I'm here for the community. I'm here from a senior citizen. Again, I'm here because the speed, we don't have a speed limit in Waukegan. We need to educate people. A speed limit is there for a reason, so that you can stop with enough time that you don't kill someone. The open field off of North Avenue, it become a racetrack with these people with a motorbike all night. It belongs to Commonwealth Edison. But every night is a racetrack. It's crazy. And it has a private property, okay? I'm here because the city, we talk about beautifying the city. I met the people that we replaced now to take care of our city. You know what they say about our city? It's one of the nastiest cities they work in. Rockford and Waukegan is the nastiest place. I said, then why did you take the job? But they're doing a nasty job. What we have done to you guys, that you guys treating us like second-class people.
Come on.
What? We elected you. Are you guys care about the people, or you just want the title behind your name? Have you guys taken the time to walk through the wards that you represent to see how it's running? To see if you can walk and say, ooh, my ward is good, and then crow like a rooster. Kikiriki! Hey, look at my space. No, you don't care. You want beautifying, but you're hustling the people. I feel like the city is our pimp. I wanted to fix my place, or she wanted to fix her place. She has to come up with $200 and $300 for a permit to replace something that is already there. Give me a break. It was there. It was there for 20 years, and it lasts 20 years, 30 years. And now it's broken, and we want to fix it. But the person have to come up with $200, $300, $400. That's ridiculous. Please, please, please. Let's stop making up our beds without accommodating the sheet. If you don't shake it off, you have dead flesh. Shake it off, smooth it out, put on a clean sheet, and be somebody. Stop being career politician and care about the people that put you there. We pay your salary. I live in Waukegan for 45 years. 5. And Waukegan is worse than it was before. So please, 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 walk through your people.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ariel Jones.
Hello, can you hear me? This is like my first time here. I gotta come more often. These are interesting. Hello, my name is Ariel Jones. I'm proud to say that I had the honor to graduate with a degree in physics from Lake Forest College. I've lived in Waukegan my entire life, so I feel that I have the right to say that maybe I have some grounds to put you all on the hot seat. I would like to ask this council what your power actually is, and how you choose to use that chair you sit on in front of me. Leadership and respect does not shine through in Waukegan because of inept individuals who don't understand the Waukegan citizens. I just wrote this, y'all. What is freedom, and why do people take it away? What is power, and how do people use it? Why wouldn't you support a ceasefire? What hurts you from taking this action? What hurts you from being a leader in your city? What makes you cower from the truth? Are you a true leader, or do you follow ignorance? The Waukegan people are undermined by the corrupt government, inside and out. Do not forget who put you in that chair in front of me and this room. Do not forget that a politician who is comfortable is not at work. Now that I have a minute, 20 seconds, I would like to also just speak about the conflict in Israel and Palestine. You know, I worry about politicians who don't speak up because, you know, sometimes that means somebody else is controlling their mouth. And the reason why you were voted in here is, you know, to carry that message of your people. I look directly at you, Mayor Ann Taylor, because I've never been able to formally meet you. I love the fact that I get to speak with you directly because I've never been to a city council meeting, and I've never had the chance to speak directly to a politician like this. I feel like I have the power maybe to as well mention that you have not been doing your job as a mayor. The people who go to school in your city can't even understand a good portion of the words that you put on your screen, can't read. And I talk to my alderman, he tells me that, you know, it's not in your power to really work on that. I'm not going to tell you who, because I don't think names really matter in this situation when you are the leader here. Understand this, that you let down your people when you do not speak
Thank you
up.
very much. Thank you. Katie Hone? Katie Hone? Katie Hone? All right. We're going to go to the next group. Veronica Aracentalis, Christian Thorpe, Joseph McWerthers, Brandon Arroyo, Julian Ruiz. It's Veronica Aracentalis, Christian Thorpe, Joseph McWerthers, Brandon Arroyo, and Julian Ruiz. Go ahead and state your name, please.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Arcentales, and against my will, I am complicit in genocide. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, the United States has sent almost $13 billion in military aid to Israel since October, including $8.7 billion in April alone. Our taxpayer money buys the weapons that Israel uses to indiscriminately kill and maim Palestinian civilians. That in itself is already horrifying, but the complicity of the United States runs much deeper than simply writing checks. The United States is not a helpless accomplice to Israel. It is the reason this genocide is happening. A week and a half ago, on June 8th, soldiers entered the Nusayrat refugee camp disguised as humanitarian aid workers and carried out a massacre. How was this blatant war crime made possible? From March to May of this year, the United States built a pier in Gaza, allegedly meant for humanitarian aid. Instead, the pier was used to bring in U.S. and Israeli military forces, who again were disguised as humanitarian aid workers, and proceeded to murder more than 200 people in the refugee camp. This number includes the murder of some of their own hostages in what was supposedly a rescue operation. To approach displaced people, people who are hungry and injured and traumatized, pretending to be the help that they've prayed for, and then to kill them? There are no words to describe how cruel that is, but it wasn't an isolated incident. There were no words to describe the cruelty of the flour massacre in February, or the attack on the World Central Kitchen workers in April, or the continuous use of chemical weapons on refugee camps like Nuseirat. Since October, Israel has carried out more than 3,000 massacres in Gaza. Not killings, massacres. This is unacceptable to us. Our red line has been crossed. Alderpersons, Mayor, I ask you to think, what is your red line? What is unacceptable to you? Which war crime, if any, is so heinous, so depraved, that it merits taking a stand? When you have an answer, I want you to look up if Israel is guilty of it. Targeting children? Check. Sexual violence? Check. Collective punishment, starvation, breach of medical neutrality, ethnic cleansing, the list goes on. Please take a stand. Approve the ceasefire resolution being on the next meeting's agenda, then adopt the ceasefire resolution. Work towards peace, not war. Thank you.
Thank you. Christian Thorpe. Christian Thorpe. All right, we're going to go on to Joseph McWhirters. Brandon Arroyo.
My name is Brandon Anaya. It's now been over 2 months since the people of Waukegan for Palestine have been showing up to these city council meetings. We asked for the bare minimum of a ceasefire resolution to be added to the agenda. We have had an overwhelming support of many residents of Waukegan from the very start, yet it's taken 2 months for many of you to even give a substantial response to us. We don't plan on giving up. Over the last 2 months, people have come up talking about history. We have told you the stories of over 40,000 people. In the simplest way, with just a number, a statistic of the dead, of the short stories of many children and people. Some of those people are family members of Waukegan residents. We have shared these stories to reach out to your humanity to do the right thing. Our presence here is a promise from the people, a promise that we won't give up, and we, the people who live in Waukegan, the people that provide their labor to Waukegan, will be proactive against the injustice overseas and at home. We'll keep to make our voices heard because your indifference will not waver our commitment to free Palestine. I'll never forget when the Black Lives Matter uprisings were occurring and the Palestinian people provided their knowledge to the people about the weapons used against protesters. The same weapons used against them under Israeli occupation, the same weapons used against them are already home. In my eyes, that makes our struggle as one. All oppressed people are standing up in solidarity against injustice internationally, and all leaders, local and nationally, will have to respond against us or with us. If you choose to go against the will of the people, we will make it known either in the upcoming elections or by exercising our right of freedom of speech. And we will show... And we will strip you away from the limited power you have shown us you have. Your power comes from the people, not your government hierarchy. We, the people, provide the work necessary to maintain society. And if you're not maintaining society for the will of the people, then you're obsolete. The path towards free Palestine will be long, but you can't all be part of it if you add a ceasefire resolution to the agenda. The path towards true liberation and reparations for all oppressed people will always be long, but it will all come to be. From the words of Palestinian political prisoner Walid Daka, who can halt the relentless march of time? The time for you all to do something has come. The time for justice has come.
you. Jason Farias? I'm sorry, Julian Ruiz. I'm sorry, Jason's next. Julian Ruiz, go ahead, sir.
Good evening. I'm also here to demand a ceasefire once again from Waukegan City Council. We've come here many times already, and I think other people have already, described the facts and described the tragedies that have been occurring in Gaza. So I think I'm just going to add that we're going to continue to get organized, and we're going to continue to keep fighting for this resolution and beyond. We're going to keep fighting until Palestine is free. That's all.
Thank you. The next group will be Jason Ferris, Frank Pettis, Uriel Vien, Laura Delgado, Margaret Carrasco. That's Jason Ferris, Frank Pettis, Uriel Vien, Laura Delgado, Margaret Carrasco. Please state your name.
My name is Jason. First off, I would like to thank Alderman Felix and Martinez for opening a line of dialogue with the community on the issue of passing a ceasefire resolution for Palestine. This is what the community has been asking for week after week, going on 2 months now. So thank you for making some headway on this resolution, and I encourage other aldermen to do the same, to join alongside your colleagues, the community, and the overwhelming majority of the country that supports a ceasefire for the Palestinian people. Secondly, I would like to address Mayor Taylor directly. Months ago, you made a public statement expressing sentiment that it's not the business of local government to get involved in something like a ceasefire resolution. I think the community has effectively argued against your point for months now. Virtually no one here with even a basic understanding of the genocide agrees with you. Why is it not your job to get involved in the state and federal government only when we're talking about an ongoing genocide, but not when you're asking them for money? It only reasons that from your perspective, the ability to obtain grants and maintain a good relationship with Congressman Brad Schneider overrides the humanity of the Palestinian people. It's possible to work towards replacing bridges, replacing lead pipes without sacrificing your humanity by failing to speak on such a dire situation. Lastly, you made the comment at the last meeting expressing disappointment that Alderman Turner didn't issue an apology to that young woman's family in Milwaukee. And I agree, Alderman Turner, is still not too late to apologize. I really think you should. But 2 months ago, when there was a drastic increase in police presence in this chamber, my question is, where is your apology to us? The Palestinian community and their allies deserve an apology for the escalation that you brought to this chamber with the introduction of numerous armed officers. That decision you made reflects a racist, Islamophobic, and Orientalist attitude that the Palestinian cause for freedom is, and I'll say incorrectly, violent. It demonstrates your disdain you have towards your constituents, and it reflects your governing attitude that endless policing can disappear problems in this community. But you cannot disappear us, you cannot disappear the Palestinian cause for freedom and liberation, and you cannot disappear the stain on your record that silence on this genocide will have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Frank Pettis. Mr. Frank Pettis.
All right, y'all. Frank Pettis here, Waukeganite. First, just wanted to start off on a positive note and say that the lead pipe remediation and the Brownfield remediation, those are good things. Those are good things. And I see you, everybody up here really trying on an environmental note, right? My work is in environmental justice. I really want to see Waukegan cleaned up, all the Superfund sites. I want to see us have access to our lakefront. But in the environmental justice movement, right, and this is a national and international movement, we are not accepting that safety here, right, means that we have to turn a blind eye to harm being caused other places, right? We are all connected, and when I think about Juneteenth, and I think about my ancestors who were enslaved, my indigenous ancestors whose land was stolen, right? Like that is not, You cannot disconnect that from what's happening in Palestine right now. We need a ceasefire resolution, right? We won't go away, okay? The overlap is too real, right? Like, if y'all were alive when the Native Americans were experiencing their genocide, would you speak up? Or would you keep your mouth silent? You know, it's something to really sit with. We elected you, right, to look after the most vulnerable of us, okay, the people who are really scraping by. Like, that's what you need to be looking at. Alderman Felix and Alderman Martinez, I wanted to thank both of you for staying after, for speaking with us, the people of Waukegan, for a ceasefire in Palestine. I like that, Brandon. What I loved most about what you did is you took the time to ask questions, you know, and I encourage, I mean, if there are any Waukeganites who don't know what's happening in Palestine or you feel like you need more information, reach out, right? If anybody stands against a ceasefire in Palestine, come speak about it. I doubt that any Waukeganites who are knowledgeable on the issue would speak against it. Okay, the folks who came here on the first day, ain't never seen them in my community. I mean, they're welcome, but I don't think they live here. Just being honest. And then from today, right, the two most moderate members of Netanyahu's war cabinet just resigned, right, leaving him with what analysts call a far-right echo chamber. Okay, this issue, it's not going away, right? The land speculators have already descended on Gaza. Okay, they want that land, they want the resources, just like the colonizers here wanted to steal that from the Native Americans, you know, so recognize that these things are connected and we cannot repeat the harm of the past, okay? We need something better. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Uriel? Go ahead, sir.
My name is Yuri Vieira, and good evening to everybody. Just refresh your mind, I was here in August 2023, complained about police department didn't want to take my case, a fraud case. So finally, the same day, I started videotaping everything, and they took my case. So finally, they called me in March saying they closed the case because they didn't find anything. Well, I don't know how they didn't find anything because I got it proof. These organizations already, they stole the federal money with the Social Security with the Social Security number of a citizen. That's myself, American citizen. They stole already almost $1,400,000, and they just use a credit card. And Chase sent me a text message saying if I proved that the amount of money was $532.50. They use it in the city hall of Waukegan. So if I don't understand how the police department is doing a damn job saying they closed the case, good thing this case is federal case, so it's still open. Waukegan closed it, but it's still open. There's a federal case because it's federal money. So how can they let these people use the four last numbers of the credit card, this 6763, they use it to pay a permit to the city of Waukegan. How they doing? Somebody is cover up this organization. Could be the city of Waukegan or could be Mrs. Ann Taylor. That's my question. Why they didn't find anything if I got the proof right here and they just use it this month, the credit card in the city of Waukegan. That was June 10 of this year. How that happened? How they didn't find anything, sir? Look at you. And you close the case. Good thing it's federal case. So, I'm not worried about it. I will give you a copy, but since it's closed, I just let you know it's not closed. It's a federal offense to the United States, and they stealing the money with the Social Security of an American citizen. And these people, they're not even legally here in the United States. And you guys approve a permit for them to be in Waukegan. And yes, you guys approve it. Well, whoever has been sitting down up here. Yeah, could be Ann Taylor. Like I said, whoever was it, now is in the list of the federal investigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Laura Delgado.
Hola, mi nombre es Laura Delgado y yo solicito un intérprete en español, por favor. Mi nombre es Laura Delgado y soy una voluntaria en el comité, el grande comité que organiza las fiestas patrias, el desfile de fiestas patrias.
She's a volunteer for Fiestas Patrias.
Este desfile ha sido hecho por Fiestas Patrias desde hace 20 años y esperamos que sean otros 20 años.
It's been on for 20 years and she's hoping for another 20 years.
Esta es nuestra cultura. Waukegan es una comunidad del 85% hispano y es parte de nuestra sangre.
This is her culture, and Waukegan is a majority Hispanic, and this is their blood.
Este evento es uno de los eventos más grandes hispanos, latinos en Waukegan y en Lake County.
This is one of the biggest Hispanic events in Lake County.
Este año tendremos alrededor de 30 jovencitas que serán participantes de nuestro evento de belleza.
She's expecting 30 young women to be part of their beauty event, or beauty pageant.
Y este año tendremos un premio de $3,000 para la ganadora.
They have a prize of $3,000 for the winner.
Y tendremos los mejores grupos musicales que hemos traído y un desfile de más de 5 veces más grande que otros años.
They're expecting it to be way bigger than past events, and they're expecting live music and entertainment too.
Tendremos caballos y más de 30 artistas que vienen de México a Waukegan.
They're going to have artists come from Mexico all the way to Waukegan.
Eso es todo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Margaret Carrasco.
Oof. If you think it's hot outside, folks, that ain't nothing to what's coming here in Waukegan. First of all, your translator did not translate accurately. Okay? Let me begin. Okay, to all the pastors from Lake Forest, Libertyville, and Gurnee, God bless you that you spoke in support of another homeless shelter in the city of Waukegan. No, sweethearts, you need to put it in Lake Forest, in Libertyville, and in Gurnee. We have enough in Waukegan. We've done our fair share. Next, it's inhumane and illegal that the city of Waukegan this Sunday charge, when it's 95 degrees outside, $30 to 750 vehicles that came to Waukegan's beach in extreme heat advisory temperatures. I think they made $22,000. Where's that money going? Okay, and primary to minority and poor residents. The lake is a natural cooling resource. When it's heat advice, when it's that hot, you should not charge Waukegan residents to come down there. The next thing is, this weekend, many states, except for the state of Illinois, had their first Black Juneteenth rodeo. More than 7,000 persons attended. Therefore, and Sylvia, if she's still here, let's work together on this. The Mexican community, Charros, Escaramuzas, we're going to offer free horse riding classes in the city of Waukegan, to the south side of Waukegan, to our minority community, and especially where I'm looking for 100 African-American male youth. We want an alternative to gangs and drugs. Let's get them to learn about their culture and their history. Cowboys in America, you can't talk about them without talking about black cowboys. And lastly, if you didn't see it tonight, the Attorney General came out with an article about the asbestos at the hospital there on Washington Street. and it states that Waukegan resulting in serious dangers of asbestos to our health. And Taylor, you put at risk the health of every single Waukegan resident. You lied to us. George Bridges lied to us. Oh, I didn't know anything about it. Are you that stupid? Yes, you are. We're tired of your lying. And now all these people are going to die of cancer because of your ignorance. Stop lying.
Thank you. The next group is the last group, Serena Sanchez Johnson. Serena Sanchez Johnson, Regan Lee, Dr. Margarita Garcia, Ms. Carr, Zamora Ruiz, and Calvin Mathis. Serena Sanchez Johnson, Regan Lee, Dr. Margarita Garcia, Ms. Carr, Zamora Ruiz, and Calvin Mathis. Please state your name.
Hi, I'm Serena Sanchez Johnson. I was born in Waukegan, I currently live in Zion, and I just want to know that everybody on this board and everybody on this room that's stayed silent about Palestine is a proponent of white supremacy. It is very clear all throughout Lake County. Yes, we need shelters for people who are underprivileged, but yeah, let's put them in Lake Forest, let's put them in Libertyville, because y'all are not going to do anything unless whatever you don't want is in your community. Let's put the air quality in y'all community, right? Because nobody wants to get stuff done around here until it affects white people. All right? I am fed up with the complacency in the way that white colonialism permeates everything in our culture. We cannot exist as people in the society while constantly ignoring all of these problems, mainly the way they affect our communities. I want you to know that every brown person in this county is a Palestinian. We should be all fighting for Palestinian rights and freedom. None of us are free until they are free. Nobody is free until everyone is free. Nobody is free until our water is clean. How are we going to speak at the council meeting if we're dead from cancer? How do you expect to have an earth in 50 years? Okay? Like, it's ridiculous. And, you know, as I've been continuing to go to community meetings, I realize that I cannot advocate for myself without the help of my community. I need people to show up here and speak out, even if it makes you unconsciously emotional, even if your voice shakes. Let it be heard. I think that when we are silent, when we are complacent, we are aiding in mutual destruction of each other. The addressing of white supremacy benefits everybody, even white people, because these rich people have pit us against each other when we all are trying to make this world a better place for everybody. We have to be accountable to each other. And Taylor, you need to be accountable to Waukegan. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Regan Lee.
Hi, my name is Reagan Lee. My family owns a strip mall over at 1819 Grand Avenue, right by Grand and Lewis. I was coming here just asking the city for help because over the last few years, there's just been a lot of individuals loitering, panhandling, drinking out there. I mean, I've seen customers and employees harassed. I've been threatened by them when I asked them to not go through the garbage and asked them to leave. My tenant got in a physical confrontation with them, and it's been tough. We call the police often, and it's kind of just a game of whack-a-mole where the police come and then they're gone, and they move them off and they're gone, and they come right back. I did a FOIA request and saw that in 2023 there was like 90-some calls, which comes to a call every 4 days, and those are only the times they call. There are times that someone's there and they don't. and there's no call out, but I might have dealt with them, or my tenant would have dealt with them. So I'm just really asking for more help, whether it's police presence, a stronger ordinance against panhandling or public consumption, what have you. I know everyone has rights, but my tenants also have a right to peacefully run the business. Their employees have a right to just work without being harassed. Their customers have a right to just get their laundry done, go shopping. That's all I really want that's all I have to ask for. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Margarita Garcia.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Dr. Margarita Garcia, and I'm the Chief Crisis Response Officer at A Safe Place in Waukegan. I'm here to voice my strong support for the proposal to build a fixed-site shelter for families in Waukegan, spearheaded by PADS in Lake County. In my work, I've encountered families who are teetering on the edge of homelessness or have already become homeless. These are our neighbors, people you and I know. It could be someone sitting next to us, who due to circumstances often beyond their control, such as a job loss, medical emergencies, domestic violence, or unexpected financial crisis, find themselves without a stable place to live and security to thrive. The proposed fixed-site shelter in Waukegan is not just a temporary fix. It is a crucial long-term investment in the well-being of our community. This shelter will provide families with more than just a roof over their heads. It will offer a safe, stable environment where they can access the resources and support needed to regain their footing and work toward a brighter future. We know that family homelessness has far-reaching consequences. This shelter will play a pivotal role in breaking the cycle of poverty and homelessness for many families. Moreover, a fixed-site shelter allows for the provision of comprehensive support services. Families will have access to case management, employment services, mental health, counseling, among others, all under one roof. These services are essential for helping families not only to find housing, but to achieve lasting stability and independence. Supporting the establishment of this shelter is also about the values we hold as a community. It demonstrates our commitment to the compassion, inclusivity, and support for our most vulnerable neighbors. By investing in the shelter, we are investing in the future in Waukegan, ensuring that every family has the opportunity to thrive and contribute positively to our community. I urge you to consider the profound impact that this shelter will have on the lives of countless families. This shelter represents hope, resilience, and a brighter future for so many. In closing, I strongly advocate for the approval of the PADS Lake County fixed site for families in Waukegan. Let's come together to support this vital resource, showing the Waukeganist leaders, our community that cares deeply for its residents and believes in providing every family foundation what they need to build a better life. And in ending, I think it's important not to get lost in politics, but to do the humanitarian thing, is support PADS in building this fixed site. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ms. Carr. Sarah, Ms. Carr. Ms. Carr, are you coming in? Yes, that's me, sorry. All right.
Okay, hi everybody, my name is Del Gracia. I'm the Assistant Director at Sweethearts and Sweethearts Academy. So I came here today because I know that there's a proposal for PADS for the safe site, right? So we partner with PADS and we've been partnering with them for about 6 months now and providing childcare for all the clients or who's ever in need, and also job opportunities as well, right? So I think that it'll be a good idea to actually do this, and the reason why is because I think it'll provide some type of stability, some type of structure for the clients. If you're not aware, there are plenty of clients who are living at PADS who are, victims of domestic violence and stuff like that, going through so much trauma, right? And they're being placed in different places like hotels, Mundelein, Libertyville, Waukegan, right? And it's just really hard for caseworkers to get to them when they need to, be placing them in public places where actually they can be right, they can be targeted again by their abusers, right? So I think that the safe site would be a blessing for them to create some type of stabilization, like I said, and to make sure that they're in a safe spot. You know, Zion has a safe place, Waukegan has a safe place, right? But the one in Waukegan is not enough room, right? We know it's plenty of people walking around all day who are homeless, right? So I think it'll be a blessing for them. I've been working with Nestor and also Alan and some of the caseworkers within the past couple of months, and they have a really good heart. You can tell that they're there for the people. Like, I've caught them on the weekends. They're always picking the phone up. They're always willing to help. So I think that for Waukegan, it'll be a blessing for them, and I'm praying that we will get it established. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Zamora Ruiz.
Hi, my name is Xiomara Ruiz, and I'm here to address the council in showing support for the fixed shelter site in Waukegan. I grew up on 10th and Park, seeing a lot of individuals experiencing homelessness or dealing with substance abuse. And now working at PADS, I've come across, sorry, I'm extremely nervous and a little bit overwhelmed with all of the conversation today. But anyways, I wanted to just talk about some of the individuals that we serve, some of the individuals that I see in the community that come into PADS. Not everybody is on drugs. Some people are experiencing mental health crisis. Some people are reluctant to receive the service. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about the families and the fixed shelter site and the need for it. We currently have about 520-ish people in shelter, and more than half are children. If you think about a hotel room and the size of a hotel room and the size of a fridge, it's not adequate to support these larger family needs. And I think moving forward with the fixed shelter site would give us the opportunity to better serve our clients in a more calm, trauma-informed environment. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Mr. Calvin Mathis.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Mayor Guzman, aldermen and alderwomen. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he's the Son of God. I believe he is God. I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and as I said, and he reveals himself in and as the form of Jesus Christ. Politics and religion. I know we have some clergy here. I've said this plenty of times. I've been coming here for about 15 years now. This mixing of politics and religion. I don't know what scriptures you're reading, but this public prayer, if I recall right in the scriptures, is not endorsed by Jesus Christ. So I just want to drop that off to you. Religion and politics is the cause of the world's problems. We just have women who have just been degraded to second-class citizens based on what? Somebody else's belief. They have taken the government and imposed their will upon the people. That's a sidebar. I want to really talk about democracy, because this is how it all goes down. What I'm seeing here is what I see all the time for 15 years. You have an issue. You show up in the time of crisis. What you need to do is come down when things are boring, when we're just paying bills and nothing's really going on. Get out in front of your problem. Your problem didn't start on October 7th. Your problem started in 1944. How do I know that? My problem didn't start in 1965 when I was born. My problem started in the 1600s. 400 years. Can you imagine 400 years? That's your grandfather's father, his father, and his father, and it's ongoing. So, and this is not a pain comparison. I don't want to compare my pain to your pain. We all hurt. That's the story of the cross. This is a brutal world. This world, you don't have to believe the story. In fact, this is said as a tale. If God himself showed up on the earth, we would kill him too. That's the story. This is a brutal world. But through love and kindness, we can overcome the devil. if you believe in that. But even if you don't believe in that, if you're an atheist, it still applies. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and soul. Love thy brother as thyself, thy neighbor as thyself. Didn't really get to talk about what I wanted to, but that was enough. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, that concludes the public portion.
Okay, I'm going to give a 10-minute break for aldermen to use the facilities, and then we'll come back and do the business of the city, okay? Alderman, can I have you start to take your seats, please? Can I have Alderman back? Okay, everybody seated? Oh, okay. Okay. Alderman Felix, can I have you back, please? Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a first and a second for the motion for
First.
omnibus?
First for the consent agenda.
Alderman Turner, Alderman Florian second, and this is to omnibus the consent agenda. Is, what? Consent.
Yeah,
We want to make sure we have a motion for it.
and that can be done with a voice vote.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Mayor, before we go forward, could I pull out B and C?
Can you pull out what?
B and C,
Under the consent agenda?
correct?
Okay. Okay. Do you have questions to the motion?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I think that.
Well, we've got a motion for,
There was a motion to establish a consent agenda. Alderman Guzman wanted to pull out items B and C. So now the consent agenda
is
is,
for A, D, E, and F. Okay. Any questions to A, D, E, or F? Okay. Item A, an ordinance granting an extension of a conditional use permit at 2082 North Buttrick Street for solar photovoltaic field and associated variances approved under ordinance 0206, 23, is that a 0 or an O? Oh, I'm sorry, 0207 and a 230208. Item D, a motion to approve vendor payments dated July 17th, 2024, in the amount of $783,48.48. Item E, a motion to approve and ratify a regular payroll dated June 14th, 2024, in a total amount of $2,055,565.95. I said that wrong. $2,055,565.95. Item F, a motion to approve and ratify miscellaneous payroll dated June 14th, 2024, in a total amount of $196,592.43. Any questions to those motions? Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Felix.
aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item B, can I have a first and a second to the motion?
First.
Alderman Florian.
Second.
Second, Alderman Newsom. Alderman Guzman.
Nicole?
Yeah, so the item B would be the map amendment for the property at 3633 North Lewis that you had asked to be pulled.
Yes, who's the department head? Yeah. Okay, my question is this. Okay, so we have one facility, so now it's going to be two. Are they planning to remove the grand one since the other one is going to be like more of a bigger site, or when they keep both of them?
They're different purposes. step back a little bit. Is that okay? Can you hear me okay? The new site would be a residential facility for families. The site on Grand Avenue is an intake facility, more of an office.
Did that answer your question, or?
Yes, go ahead.
Alderman Felix?
Did we, I know this was in the conversation, to add to the amendment, whether if the paths were to leave, that it would go back to what it currently is? Did we add something like that, or no? Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, they're purchasing it.
Oh, they're purchasing it? Okay. Okay. Sorry, never mind.
And then, okay, so it is a conditional use permit, so the permit can be pulled if issues arise, or how does this work?
There's due process that's laid forth in the ordinance, but yes, if there are concerns raised to staff or the administration, the Planning and Zoning Department needs to be informed of that. We would have them come and present to the Planning and Zoning Commission at a public hearing, discuss what the concerns are, see if there's a resolution to that. They can be brought back a number of times. If there was a desire to pull the conditional use permit, to revoke it for cause, then there would be a hearing at Planning and Zoning Commission, and then it would go through the City Council. Mr. Weiss.
And it may be helpful just to mention that the conditional use permit has over 20 specific conditions that are kind of tailored to this specific use. So there are ones that are very standard about that it will have to have an NFPA compliant sprinkler system. But there are also other operating conditions, including that the petitioner must provide 24-hour security cameras and PADS personnel on the property at all times, that the petitioner's clients are present on the property. The Planning and Zoning Commission looked at this operation and really tried to figure out how to allow it to operate so that both the residents who are there can live with dignity and privacy, but that this also doesn't spill out and cause a problem to the neighbors. And so I'm not going to read every one of the conditions, but they are very numerous. And PADS would be held to comply with these conditions.
Okay, that was my whole worry, make sure that it was established, but Corporation Council has eased me, and then we do have a conditional use permit, so if any issues arise, we can pull it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I've had a first and a second. Can I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Newsom. Aye. Turner.
You know, I have a special affinity for homelessness, for the homeless, and for this facility. I was just talking to Mr. Mathis over there, and it's like 32 years ago, August 16th, I was homeless. My home was destroyed. I lived in South Miami, Florida. Hurricane Andrew destroyed my home, and it instantly became homeless. When I came back to Chicago on a Greyhound bus, I only had a bag over my shoulder, and had it not been for facilities that were available to me, I would not be here where I am today. So I'm absolutely 1,000% in support of this new facility.
Donna
My
Worth.
vote is yes. Thank you.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Most definitely, yes.
Guzman.
Before I give my answer, my vote, okay, it's not that I'm against it. I just want to make sure there's order and tranquility and between the residents and everybody around them. I don't want chaos. I want to make sure everything is done correctly, and if it is, I'm okay with it. Thank you. Aye.
Martinez.
Being in human services field for almost 37 years, and actually I was a PADS client advocate at one time when they were located in North Chicago in Building 6, and I do understand the challenges that you guys face, but I also spoke with Director Mr. Swilly. We even had coffee together. His heart is there. I think that given the opportunity that you guys would do a wonderful program. And I like your theme where you guys, it's a shared concern And that's what we need. We need more people to step up like you guys. And I commend you from the bottom of my heart. And if I can help you guys in any way, then I most definitely will be there. So I will be voting yes.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So that was the rezoning, and now the
Yes.
second item is the conditional use
Conditional
permit.
use permit. Can I have a first and a second on item C?
First.
Second.
Okay, who was the first? Alderman Florian? Okay, and Alderman Newsome. An ordinance approving zoning calendars 2748 and 2749, granting a conditional use permit and associated variances for a homeless shelter at 36, I need my glasses, 3633 North Lewis Avenue. Any questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to reports and communications, a letter of credit. Treasurer?
I'm John Schwab. I'm the treasurer for the city of Waukegan, and I'm requesting you approve $14,041 to provide a letter of credit regarding the Yeoman Creek remediation project. The EPA has approved the city's finance assurance, the letter of credit. The fee is the $14,041 to the bank to provide this letter. I ask for your approval.
Any questions? Alderman? No? Okay. Have a motion, a first and a second to approve this?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, who was the first? Donnerworth. The second was Alderman Turner. Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk. It's a motion to approve a letter of credit.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Under new business, can I have a motion for an omnibus?
First.
Second.
Alderman Newsome, second. Alderman Donnerworth. Okay.
I'd like to pull out number A, item A.
Okay. So this is a omnibus for item B through N. Okay. Item B, a resolution to authorize the mayor to award the emergency demolition of 110 Washington Park RFP to KS Builders Corporation for a not-to-exceed amount of $36,050 pending confirmation of a court order and authorization from corporate counsel. Item C, a resolution to authorize the mayor to award the demolition of 1318 Audrey Nixon Boulevard to Rezar Demolition for a not-to-exceed amount of $31,000. Item D, a resolution approving a professional services agreement with Edward J. Barron and appointing Mr. Barron as a special administrative hearing officer for push tax enforcement hearings. Item E, a resolution approving the award of a 2025 sidewalk program to D-Lang Construction LLC for a not-to-exceed amount of $699,193.75. Item F, a resolution approving the repaving of a parking lot as well as the sidewalk in front of the parking lot on Washington Street by Lepardo Companies, Inc., per Section 2-458, 1.3, joint purchasing through Sourcewell for a not-to-exceed amount of $42,481.37. Item G, a resolution approving the award of a 2025 road program to Schroeder Asphalt Services, Inc. for a not-to-exceed amount of $1,624,048. Item H, a resolution approving the purchase of lightning loader for Key Equipment and Supply Company per Section 2-45813, joint purchasing through Sourcewell for a not-to-exceed amount of $231,564.24. Item I, a resolution approving the outfitting of 2 chassis by Linco for a not-to-exceed amount of $376,896 per Section 2-45813, joint purchasing through Sourcewell. Item J, a resolution approving the retroactive approval of the purchase of replacement parts for H. Barber and Sons, Inc. for an emergency repairs for the beach cleaner for a not-to-exceed amount of $26,857.57. Item K, a resolution approving the purchase of a 24 Ford Transit cargo van from Coons Auto Group per Section 2-458 I-7 good faith waiver for a not-to-exceed amount of $52,817.03. Item L, an ordinance declaring various surplus fire department radio surplus and authorizing their disposal. Item M, a resolution waiving competitive bidding requirements and approving the purchase of a 24 Kia Sorento from Classic Kia in Waukegan. Item N, a resolution approving the sole source purchase of a Motorola Communications APX Next Solution radio devices from Motorola Solutions. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item A, can I have a first and a second to the motion?
So moved.
Alderman Newsom
So
and
moved.
Alderman Martinez. Any questions to the motion before I read it?
Committee is spelled wrong.
Just where? Oh,
My bad. I put that on there.
okay.
I didn't right-click, I know.
Okay, Alderman Turner, you had a question?
Yeah,
to the motion?
I'm just curious. I had technical difficulties. I still have problems using this phone, but I just was, if for mine and the audience's edification, can you tell us what this is about? The variances sections of Chapter 14 for the right-of-way permit review and the associated fees. What's the fees all about particularly?
I can take this one, and then I may ask the city
Jesus to
engineer
come
for a
up,
bit
yeah.
of. So back last year, this was brought before the Code Revisions Committee, and it's updating the regulations and fees that we charge when a utility company or some other private party is digging in our right-of-way. And so when someone is installing something or construction is being done in our right-of-way, the right-of-way is the part of the property that goes basically along the side of most roads. That still belongs to the city. It's where most of your utilities are. And to work in it, you have to get a permit from the city. Primarily, one, because it's the city's property and you have to restore it, and then two, there's a lot of other very valuable and important things in there that if you mess up or if you dig in an inappropriate way, you could cut off someone's power, you could cut off someone's water. And so the city engineer, and he can kind of speak what impelled this, asked to update some very old sections of our code to explain what kind of permits were required and update the fees to reflect the actual cost that it takes his department to go out and make sure that we're not making a problem worse.
Good afternoon, Council. Yes, as Stu mentioned, these proposals were brought to City Council last year. It is brought to my attention that it never made it to full council, hence we're here. However, we are updating our fees to be consistent between both chapters. There was conflicting information in both, so we are updating it for it to be the same. We're also increasing based on the construction cost to 1%, $500 for the first 50 square feet, $15 in excess of that. And the reason why the fees are set up that way is to discourage utility companies. You're talking your North Shore Gas, ComEd, AT&T, Verizon, oftentimes publicly traded companies that have investors who just want to come in, do the work, may or may not restore the right of way. Our ordinance does call to not have any open excavations on roads unless it's dire circumstances. We have tables that define also the depths that they have to construct their facilities. So all these changes are reflected to bring an update to that. Consistency in the time the permit's open. There were various sections called from 120 days, 180. Now we're giving them 6 months. which is 120. Now that we have the software available, there's follow-up at every step from my department to ensure that they do not sever our infrastructure, thus thus mitigating some of the risks to our public works department or spending our city funds to fix their mistakes.
So are the fees increasing?
Correct.
Why?
They're more consistent. That's to cover the cost of the software, the personnel that goes out there, the inspections, the review process, and also with all this, we are modernizing the system. Right now, it's all intake by paper, very archaic process. With the increase in the fees, we're able to bring the system to the city that can track the parcels on the right-of-way. Not many softwares can do that. Also have one personnel that can take care of all of this, along with some more increased inspections for increased compliance to ensure that our public infrastructure remains in a good state of repair.
So you mentioned the utility companies and so forth. What about private residents? We had to pay an extra fee too?
Well, it depends on the work you're proposing.
So you're talking about the parkway?
Talk about the parkway. The right-of-way is defined typically from the edge of the sidewalk that's closest to your property line to the other edge.
But, so when I bought my house, I had to sign a document that allowed the city to have right-of-way on my property. So my property line actually goes out to the curb, right?
No, it's the other way around.
What do you mean?
Your property line, there's a set iron bar that's adjacent to the sidewalk, closest to your home. That is your property. Everything else further in, it's
from the sidewalk, from the edge of the sidewalk
parkway.
out to the curb. That's the city's property. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. And so what we're trying to do is, the only people who really dig in this is utilities, and utilities will often try to go a cheaper route. We were talking about directional boring versus trenching, and what we are trying to encourage them to do directional boring, which does not create a giant trench in people's front yards where people could fall in, their dogs could fall in. We're trying to encourage them to do as little disturbance to our property and the property in front of most people's houses, which we all mow and we kind of assume is ours anyway, as possible. So that's the reason for the way the fees are set up.
Vote.
Okay. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donnerworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes. Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Motion pass.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There being no ordinances, Alder time.
Alderman Felix.
Thank you. First and foremost, one of the major things I want to talk about is about the ceasefire resolution. I did get the signatures from 3 aldermen, well, myself included, Alderman Martinez, Alderman Guzman. So, and I did speak to the mayor, and I will be speaking to the rest of the aldermen as well to have their input. Of course, we want to do this together as a council. But, you know, I do have the 3 signatures, so we will put it on the agenda for the next council meeting. I will do my best to draft something that, one thing I do want to say, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to satisfy everyone. I don't think that's you know, the point of this. The point of this is to highlight what the main thing is, that people are dying out there. And so that's the task that I'm going to do my best to take on and bring that to awareness. So, you know, that's my job. I'm going to take that on, and I'm going to reach out to the rest of the aldermen and have their input, see if we can work collaboratively to get this done. If they want to, of course. And I'm sure I'm going to get all the emails and you know, with different points of views. But for the most part, my focus is on to bring awareness to what's going on out there, and create a ceasefire resolution that is sensitive to all parties. So again, I'm going to do my best, and hopefully, you know, well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, but I am going to work on this with all the aldermen. To a few other things that in my ward here, in the 4th ward, there's the Julian Towers. I did reach out to George Bridges, our chief of staff, to see if we can do anything about the elevators. Because if you guys have been in the Julian Towers, there's only one elevator that's working currently. I believe we thought that both of them were working, and then only one is working. To service all those people in the Julian Towers, it's really it's not safe. Someone gets stuck in there with an injury. It's going to cost a lot for our firemen to go in there and take those people out. Who, God willing, that doesn't happen. But George Bridges has sent out the email, so we're going to communicate with them to get that resolved. We have made a lot of progress compared to how it was in the past administrations. It didn't get to where it was in one administration. It was years of neglect. But so far, there's good things going on in the Julian Towers. They have a buzzing system, a fob system. People that are banned, we have their ID. They have their IDs, so you need an ID to get in there. And if you're banned, you're not allowed in there. Nothing's perfect, but we're on our way to create a better environment for those that are living over there. So progress. There's some progress, but in terms of the elevators, both of them should work, and then we're working on that. So hope, again, the email has been sent out to make sure that we take care of that. I want to give a shout out to the council for approving the parking lot over there right next to Abbott Middle School, or I'm not sure if it's still Abbott Middle School, to the middle school right next to the business Conchal. It's just been degrading for many years, and now we finally get to have something that looks nice. I mean, Washington is it's in the way of to the downtown, so people get to see how Waukegan is, and although we still have a long ways to create what the vision is, but we can't just let it go to to waste or the hell or look like unappealing for people that are coming in and visiting, or for us that live here. I go for a walk, and there's things that are unappealing, but we're gonna change that. So the parking lot's gonna get done. The sidewalks are gonna get done as well. That way it could be safe for our residents that are walking through there. It's a busy area. So I want to thank you, Alderman, for doing that. In terms of the people trespassing in areas, there are some homeless that trespassing and are not doing the right thing. Again, it's good that it's being highlighted that there are people that are actually in need, and they go to the pads and they get the help they need. Homeless has many different definitions depending on who you talk to, but for those that are trespassing and are not creating a safe environment for us here, our residents, something that we could put is no trespassing signs. Keep calling your police. Reach out to your alderman. Let them know, hey, reached out. Nothing has happened. Hold us accountable. One thing that I did want to ask to our legal counsel while I'm here is in terms of the policy for the audience time, we're working on that still?
Yep, that'll be coming in July.
Perfect, thank you. Let's see here. I'm working together with a non-for-profit called Juntos. We're going to have a back-to-school backpack giveaway. We're still working on it together. We have some backpacks that are being donated by the senator, and we're looking for more donations to fill up the backpacks. So, if you want to participate or donate or sponsor, please let me know. Something that's nice. Want to hit, and there's tons of backpack giveaways. We want to do it right. We want to try to do where we're actually giving it to those in need, so you don't see it on sale on eBay or Amazon later on. We have to look out for that too. Want to say Happy Father's Day. Being a father has been the best gift I've ever had. I wouldn't be the person that I am without my kids, and I wouldn't be the person that I am without my father. So, Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there that are showing up and trying their best. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for showing up again. Those that are
Alderman
here.
Newsom.
Pass.
Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Excuse me. Firstly, I'd like to thank the YCC youth who did that for their efforts in the 6th Ward, cleaned up 2 alleys, 1300 block west alley and the 1300 block of Chestnut, and then again from the alley that runs from on the north side of Grove it's kind of L shape between Grove and runs over to alley behind Hickory. They did an excellent job. Neighbors are very pleased, and I want to thank them for that. A couple of reminders: the hot weather and hot sidewalks for your pets. So if it's too hot for you to walk on the sidewalk, it's way too hot for your dog or cat to be out there walking on sidewalks. Also, be sure to make sure your pets have fresh water, and don't tether them out without unattended. Let's see. The fireworks. Right now, and in the last 3 days, I've heard and I've had several reports of extremely loud explosive devices. I don't know if those are commercial grade fireworks or homemade explosives. I don't know, but it's extremely loud. One woke me up this morning, and I think we need to lend some focus to those particularly powerful fireworks and increased effort to identify and prosecute those who are lighting them off. It goes far beyond just the effect that it has on pets and those with PTSD, but there is potential for injury and death. So we need to really get focused on that. I've also had a number of complaints and observations regards drag racing and speeding vehicles and the extremely loud noise. We've all heard those very loud exhaust from those cars. And I remember last year, I think it was last year, we defunded a position in the mayor's office, Brad Goodman, and I asked that money be shifted over to the police department. That was voted down, but I had specifically asked that the police acquire decibel meters so that they could target these speeding cars. Deputy Chief, did we ever get the decibel meters? Do you know?
I'm not familiar with the decibel.
Okay, thank you, sir. But I would encourage the mayor and police chief. Again, some of you live in areas where that's not a problem, but I got to tell you, here in the inner part of the city, it's an extreme problem. The speeding vehicles and that loud noise is ridiculous. I've been out on Sheridan Road, standing in people's front yard, and you cannot have a conversation because of all the noise going up and down the Amstutz, Pershing Road, Sheridan Road, and other roads throughout the city. We need to give some focus to that. Also, another reminder, Alderman Donna Murth and myself, we have the $2,000 available for two $1,000 rewards related to information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone illegally in possession of a firearm. So if you can help us get one off the streets, you get $1,000. Help us get two, get $2,000. Got a dumpster drop coming up in the 6th Ward. It's going to be on Saturday, July 6th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Glenflora and Chestnut, right in front of the, I think it's a Dollar General store. And finally, relates to crime and transparency. Chief Navarro came up here and he gave some stats on violent crime in Waukegan. Last year, 1,993 violent crimes. This year, 1,060 violent crimes to date, for a total of 3,053 violent crimes in the city of Waukegan in the last 18 months. How many of you knew anything about that large number of crimes? We didn't, because we're not given that information. And we can't, because we don't have it, we can't share it with you. I think it's extremely important. I think we're all entitled to know what's happening in our neighborhoods and these things that immediately and immediately and directly impact us, our families, and our properties. I don't know. We had that information, it was given to us up until December 6th of last year, and it ceased for some reason. And again, I think it's a concerted effort, a proactive effort to suppress information and keep it from the public. I don't like it. I don't think you like it either. And that's what I have for tonight, folks. Thank you very much.
Alderman Donnerworth.
Yes, please leave the fireworks to the city of Waukegan. Like Mike Urbancic said earlier when he was up here, He had sent me that video. That is just crazy, the explosions. I could hear it in my house, and I live, maybe a mile away from where he lives, but I heard it Saturday night. And, the police need to go out, they need to arrest these people or write them a ticket or whatever as of right now. If somebody calls and you've had problems there, just write them the ticket, and do what you can. The speeding on Lewis Avenue is ridiculous. The police have been out there. They've been out there a couple times running radar. Sunset too, it's crazy over there. And then these people, earlier today I saw this guy on Lewis Avenue just pops a wheelie and rides a wheelie from by Bonnybrook Golf Course all the way to Sunset. And he's riding a wheelie in front of, weaving in and out of cars on a wheelie. And he lays it down. He had to be going 80 miles an hour. But a lot of times, the police aren't there to catch that. And of course, I didn't get the plate, or I would have definitely given them a call. I'll be happy to write them a ticket. And, but loud music, fireworks, leave it to the city of Waukegan. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting injured. And then we need to slow down. And then just keep your eyes open. If you see something, call. And then hopefully the police can take care of it. Thank you.
Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want to personally say that I support the U.S.-led resolution that calls for an immediate ceasefire, the release of some hostages together with Palestinian prisoners, followed by the withdrawal of Israeli forces from populated areas, and the return of Palestinians to their homes throughout Gaza while humanitarian aid flows in at scale. This is the summary of the UN resolution that is on the table, and I personally support this. I don't feel, as elected alderman for the city of Waukegan, that our voices necessarily will change what is over there. I believe this is what we need to support, is the persons who are charged with tackling the situations at a federal level, at a national level, at an international level. So anyway, I just want to put that on record. We hosted an intergovernmental committee meeting last Thursday. We got an update from Vista. They're still working on some of the issues that they have. They are back to, a level 2 trauma status, which is great. But I wanted to reiterate some of what the coroner has said about the level 1 trauma situation. So according to the CDC, guns killed more than 48,000 people in the U.S. in 2022. That's an average of 1 person every 11 minutes. In total in 2022, 73 people died by gun violence in Lake County, including 39 by homicide and 34 by suicide. Indeed, firearms are the most common way that individuals complete suicide. Suicide sadly increased in Lake County in 2023, with 40 people dying by self-inflicted gunshot wounds. A national study published by the National Academies in 2016 found that about 20% of people who die from traumatic injuries could have been saved if they had quickly received optimal trauma care. That's 20% of them. A study conducted in Chicago by Dr. Marie Crandall and published in the American Journal of Public Health found that if gunshot victims lived more than 5 miles from a level 1 trauma center, they had a 35% higher chance of dying from their wounds than if they were shot less than 5 miles from a level 1 trauma center. So again, they have a 35% higher chance of dying if they were less than 5 miles from a level 1 trauma. So where is Lake County's only level 1 trauma center? It's in Libertyville. More than 10 miles from North Chicago and more than 20 miles away from Zion. And again, 10 miles approximately from Waukegan. So remember, being within 5 miles can be the difference of life and death. So I just think although we've made progress, we still need to keep that in mind in our community. The Safe Illinois, which is safe access for everyone, had an event Friday night in Highland Park and presented the film called Memorial. It's about the Highland Park shooting and how the community tried to heal from that. If you get a chance to see it, I recommend it. It's very moving. One other thing I want to talk about is the stuff that was mentioned during audience time about the beach. So our reading directly from section 1144 in our codes, on Saturdays, Sundays, and federal holidays, no motor vehicle shall be authorized to park in any parking lot unless there is a current city sticker, vehicle sticker, or current beach parking permit. The permits are issued at the gate for those without a city sticker and are available for purchase for $20 per day, not $30, $20. The $30 price only applies on Memorial Day, Juneteenth, 4th of July, and Labor Day. So the cars that were charged this weekend were the $20 fee, not a $30 fee, and only people that do not have a valid city sticker. If they live in Waukegan and they have a vehicle, they should have a city sticker. They will not get charged at the door, at the gate. And then I just have one question. I was grateful we passed the road program, the sidewalk program. Our downtown sidewalks are in really bad shape. Can we use TIF money to replace those sidewalks?
You're actually looking at grants, and we're currently pursuing that now.
Because they're a big liability as well as an eyesore.
That's a big, whole nother project, and we've got so many going on right now that we have them sectioned off into years.
Thank you.
Alderman Hayes.
Pass.
Alderman Bolton.
Yes, starting right off, I want to acknowledge the fact that we have someone very popular among us, and that is Shakita Jones, who is an Olympic star. Can you stand up? And I thought she thought maybe she was on the agenda. Let's give her a celebration. Yes. We're going to be acknowledging doing a street name change for her in July, but just a little bit about her. She's the IHSA Track and Field Hall of Fame. And her history just goes on and on and on. So I just wanted to openly acknowledge you. And then secondly, we have Pastor Barbara Brown, who also, I think I mentioned before, was acknowledged by our police department for her dedication to our community. Pastor Brown, who don't know her? Pastor Barbara Brown, would you stand? Yeah. Great community supporter. And then just as Alderman Florence articulated so well, I'm in agreement for whatever it takes for us to have peace. So I'm definitely supportive of that ceasefire, doing whatever it takes to have peace over there, okay? But we know, as she already said, it starts at national level. It's going to take more than just a paper resolution to resolve this. So there's a level of accountability that has to take place. And then congratulations to PADS and their achievement. I, too, used to work for PADS. I, too, have been homeless, so I get it. I also work in social work, so I get it. Yeah, it is what it is. And then I will acknowledge the beautiful mural that's on 202 South Genesee. Take time to drive by. Congratulations to NICOR for bringing the community together and what they've done this month. And there's just been so many events. Thanks to our police officers and our chief responded to just emergency calls, and I just want to thank you all as our powerful force in this city of helping me resolve issues. And thank you for our constituents. Thank you for that, for constantly keeping me on top of the game and informing me and allowing me to come there to support you. And once again, my number is 224-607-8445. Thank you.
Alderman Guzman.
Good evening. Mine's going to be really quick. I just want to say that I was very, very disappointed and ashamed. Over the last couple of weeks, I saw school buses with their stop signs out, and people are running them, okay? And then when you hit a little kid, then you're crying when you're spending 20 years in jail because you can't spend 5 minutes at a stop because the kid has to go in on a school bus or getting off. I was working, and I just passing by, and I couldn't get the license plate, or else I would have been right back there, and I would have got it. Okay? That is so uncalled for and ridiculous. You could have hit a kid, and this is twice that happened in 2 weeks. How many times does it happen? Okay? Stop 5 minutes, and you won't, and let a kid live another day at least. Okay? I'm very, very upset because of that. Secondly, I've had multiple residents call me up about the reopening or keeping the Willow Road closure in effect. I'm still working on getting those 2 meetings fitting with the schedules, especially since it's summertime. It's very hard, and I want to get as many residents as I can to both those meetings before we take a vote, see how this is going to happen, because I want to make sure as many people are involved that this is possible. I've gotten multiple phone calls on both sides of the aspect. So I am working on that. And I am going to be working on the dumpster drive to be dropped off. I'm hoping around the same place and figure out the date for July 1st to be announced. I'm hoping to have the meeting set up for that also. And I think that's about it for tonight. Have a good night. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Alderman Martinez.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk and Council. First, I would like to start by thanking Pastor Anthony Conley from the Antioch Baptist Church. Thank you for your faithful prayer and spiritual guidance. I've known Pastor Conley for over 15 years. We worked together at the Allendale Association. I'd like to also point out, as the mayor indicated earlier, tomorrow we will be having our neighborhood watch meeting. It is for Tiffany Drive. However, I have invited as many ward residents that come to see what this is all about. The police can't do it all by themselves. This is a way of getting ahead of things because it gives us the opportunity to know who your neighbors are and also to be vigilant. So I welcome anyone who is wanting more information on creating their very own neighborhood watch program. It is going to be at 528 Tiffany Drive. It is going to be very hot. It's only from 6 to 7, but I encourage everyone as possible to come on out and join us. If you need more information, you can call me at 847-390-2689, and I also have flyers if you need some flyers. Also, I'd just like to also talk about our clean sweep. On June 29th, we will be having a clean sweep disposal and dumpster. This dumpster will be located at Weiss Field on North Lewis Avenue or 100 North Lewis Avenue. Please understand or know what you cannot bring. All right. If you need more information, again, you can get a hold of me. This is for Saturday, June 29th, and it is going to be from 8 to 12. It is open to all residents. So it's not particularly just for the Third Ward resident. It is open to every resident. So I welcome and encourage everyone who large items that you need to dispose of, please bring them out to the waste there, the waste dumpster. We will be out there. Also, I just also wanted to let my constituents know that at the end of this month, we will start doing hydrant flushing. I don't have all the details yet, but I do understand that it will be at the end of the month. There will be more information coming forth as I receive that information. So I'll let everybody know about that. And I also want to say that please, summer is upon us. There's a lot of hot weather, like today, for example. Please stay hydrated. Check on your neighbors, like the mayor had indicated earlier. It's very important that we make sure that they're okay. Please heed for all pedestrians. I see a lot of people are speeding, like, as Alderman Guzman has said and other aldermen here. I mean, speeding is everywhere. I mean, it has not a particular area. It's all over the city, and it is out of control. All right? We need to get ahead of it somehow. The answer is, how do we get ahead of it? We need to work together to find out what we can do in order to get this taken care of. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and we hear about it all the time, and it's getting dangerous, and I just feel that hopefully we can have something done, or we can address it more, or maybe get some higher fines, maybe do a city ordinance. But that seems to be one of the main problems here in Waukegan is the speed. It's ridiculous. Also, I just want to remind everybody that there is the fireworks. I know, Mayor, you had a sign that you had given out last year. I have 5 in my garage. I was wondering, are you going to also?
We are starting that process now, putting those signs out again in the city about no fireworks are illegal. Is that the one you're talking about?
Absolutely,
Yep.
yes. Thank you, and then I look forward to getting a few of those. Please let the professionals be the ones handling the fireworks. You know, we don't want nothing to happen with the youngsters or anyone in particular. That's why the professionals are the ones that should be dealing with that. I do want to say that in a personal level, I do wish PAS the best of luck. They have a lot of challenges ahead of them. I worked for PAS when they were in Building 6, like I mentioned earlier, for 5 years, and it's hard work. It's dedication. We can offer these homeless people resources. We can offer them empowerment. But at the end of the day, it's what they want to do with themselves and how they want to move forward. So please, let's all support PAS. You know, homelessness is out of control. It's gone up 700%. You can just go down Grand Avenue. Look at the people. They're camped out. They're behind dollar stores with tents. Yesterday, I called the non-emergency number because they were out there. They were out there behind Dottie's over there on Grand Avenue. They were pitching tents, and it was 95 degrees out there. Something needs to be done. And what we did today, we took that maybe a second or third step to help them. So please, I know some people are kind of not in support of it, but put yourself in a situation for a moment. We have aldermen here who have already experienced homelessness. Let's continue to offer them empowerment and resources. We're all human beings, so I just want to let the people know that. And finally, I support the ceasefire. I mean, I'm not a person that believes in an eye for an eye. That's not the way I was raised. I believe that there needs to be peace in this world, and we need to understand that together, we're not going to solve it by voting for it, but at least we can show an unprecedented stand that we are against it. And so I will support the ceasefire, and I just can't wait for it to be put on the agenda for us to go in and vote for it. That is all I got. I just ask my constituents, it's going to be a hot summer. Please be safe. You know, please be very mindful, and let's all be good neighbors. Good night.
Okay, I will quickly add, you know, not only are we having problems with speeding, but stop signs are stop signs, folks. Please use them. They are not there for decorations. Use them. With that, can I have a first and a second to adjourn?
First.
Okay. First, Turner. Second was Guzman. All those in favor? Don't forget the parade on June 30th.